Force Wrestling presents New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 9, live from the Tokyo Dome.
When you talk about going out and you talk about setting the standard and you talk about having the very best in the ring, that can all mean nothing if you don't have the right person driving the bus, the right person telling the story. And when you talk about professional wrestling and you talk about play-by-play announcers, when you talk about guys that can tell the story that's going on in the ring, there's none better than good old JR. So having Jim Ross as the lead announcer for Global Force Wrestling when it presents New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom, it's a huge part of the whole deal. We're telling you we're for real. We're not going out and just hiring anybody off the street. When you start with the best. That's what JR is, that's what New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom is, and that's what Global Force Wrestling is, the best.
What a night, what athletes, what an event! Wrestle Kingdom 9, it just doesn't get any bigger.
Yes, Davey Boy Smith Jr., aka Harry Smith, and Lance the American Psycho Archer. So we're keeping things in the tag team manner here, and I'm expecting this to be more of a strong style, stiff type match.
Yeah, and I mean this match gives you a chance to see some stars of pro wrestling Noah in there teaming with Yano. So Yano, pretty well respected, and entertaining, and quite a different character. You know, being joined by the Noah talent there in this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. You know me, I am the Mark of the Masses, the man on the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some wrestling today, and I'm not just going to talk wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have an unboxing to do now. I received a package from Canada. Now, you probably say, well, who lives in Canada? Who do you know in Canada? Well, of course, our TNA correspondent, our TNA reporter, Andre Corbeil. Follow him on Twitter at Andre_Corbeil. Of course, follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Follow Bill Apter on Twitter at Apter1Wrestling. Follow us all here at OneWrestling.com at One Wrestling. And don't forget the Can-Am Wrestling Show will be back in January. Follow us at Can-Am Wrestling. And of course, we have great support like Billy Ray Valentine. Follow him at Billy Ray Hustle. Now, I don't know what this is, so I'm going to talk a little wrestling really quickly, and then I'm going to do this unboxing. I'm really excited to see what it is. I have absolutely no idea. But now, I'm going to talk about the state of wrestling in 2015. Now, I'm going to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. You have Wrestle Kingdom 9 coming right around the corner, January 4th, depending on when you're watching this video. We have WWE's Royal Rumble, and we have TNA. Now, a new TNA coming to our homes through Destination America. Now, let me jump into WWE really quickly. WWE, now, last night, depending on when you're watching this, now I'm shooting this on Tuesday, the night after the last Raw of the old year, 2014, and Daniel Bryan is now back. He is back in the WWE with a huge swerve. Everybody thought Daniel Bryan was going to retire, but the fact is that he did one of the best swerves that we've seen in a long time. Well, kind of reminiscent of that Mark Henry when he turned on John Cena, which was pretty cool. Now, you know, WWE actually seems like they're going in the right direction. Now, you say, what are you talking about? This has been one of the worst years in wrestling. Well, in order to grow, you know, my father always used to tell me, in order to gain wisdom, you have to go through trial and error. People always ask, I want to be wise, but they don't understand that in order to become wise, you have to go through trials and tribulations. And I believe that the pro wrestling industry has gone through trials and tribulations, and now they are starting to ascend. Speaking about the ascension, WWE is now putting effort into developing young talent. They just brought in the Ascension, a new young tag team. I'm not a big fan of them. I guess that's what you get when the Road Warriors and Demolition, you know, goes into a hotel room in the middle of the night. And but you know what I mean, basically, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a big fan of the Ascension, but I like the fact that now they are building on Ryback. Now they are building on Roman Reigns, on Bray Wyatt, on Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. An amazing job last night. And I saw something different this week. I saw something different, and I see something developing. I'm not going to call the Attitude Era. I think we're going to go too far. WWE would never do that again. But I do see a darker, possibly a little edgier WWE. That's all we've been asking for as wrestling fans, as wrestling marks. I am the Mark of the Masses, and I know you guys really care about the product. WWE will never go away. They will always be here. Now, if WWE continues to focus on their young talent, I mean, let's be real. John Cena hasn't really been main eventing. He's been kind of in the mid-card. Now, he did have a huge part in bringing back the Authority, which I think is an excellent move for WWE. Whether you're a fan of the Authority, whether you're a fan of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, you cannot deny the fact that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were two of the best authority figures, no pun intended, in professional wrestling this year today. Now we move on to TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling now moving to Destination America. Now, the unfortunate thing is that not many people have Destination America, but I believe that TNA can develop some type of, let's say, collusion, or if TNA can maybe work something out with, let's say, Hulu, or let's say Netflix, and they can produce their show on those options, I guess, on those alternative channels, maybe TNA can actually get a good bounce back year. Now, TNA has had one of the worst years in wrestling, but bringing back one of the best heels in professional wrestling, turning over to be one of the best baby faces in professional wrestling, Bully Ray. Bully Ray is coming back to TNA this year. I'm really interested to see where his character goes. Again, putting Dixie Carter through a table may have not been one of your best moments, but it was a moment for TNA Wrestling. In my opinion, one of the greatest moments of TNA Wrestling this year was having that match between Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. Excellent match. One of the biggest mistakes they ever did, in my opinion, was taking one of the most marketable figures in professional wrestling, in Jeff Hardy, and putting him in a mask and putting him under a stupid gimmick as Willow. Again, that's my opinion here, not the opinion of OneWrestling.com. Same thing with WWE. Let's move back to WWE. WWE at this point in juncture, you know, it seemed like they were fiddling with a lot of different gimmicks. You know, they have this new faction, the New Day. The New Day is freaking horrible. The wrestlers in the New Day, the sports entertainers, Big E, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, are fantastic. I've been saying it on the Can-Am Wrestling Show, and I've been saying it here on OneWrestling.com. They need to turn this tag team or this faction heel. These guys are all very talented in their own right, and together I think they have a lot of charisma and they can go places. And I think they can grow that faction. I think it needs to be a little bigger than 3. Now, some people would say that this faction is, well, let's just say a little racist. But if they turn that whole dancing, shucking and jiving, acting silly, you know, if they turn it around and they kind of make it almost as if they're mocking us, trying to put over their message, I think they can get over. And with the in-ring talent, I think it could possibly be a new day for the New Day. Now, WWE is focusing on their young talent. Roman Reigns is probably one of the worst guys I've ever seen talk on a microphone, but has one of the best looks. He's extremely athletic. He's very strong. He's a big guy. But unfortunately, he's only focusing on 3 moves. Now, there were wrestlers like Bill Goldberg back in WCW who pretty much only had 3 moves, but had a hell of a lot of charisma and could sell. Will Roman Reigns be able to take the reins of the WWE to another level? I don't think so. But there's a bright spot. We have guys like Bray Wyatt. We have guys like Dean Ambrose. We have guys like Seth Rollins, who is one of the best heels in professional wrestling today. Former ROH Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. I got to tell you something. Luke Harper, we'll see where that character goes. Not a big fan of the other Big Red. And in my opinion, at this point in juncture, with all due respect to Kane, Kane has been one of the best characters in professional wrestling today, and The Undertaker, but I think their time is over. Kane looked really, really slow in the ring, and again, I am a huge fan of Kane, but I think his time is up. Speaking about his time being up, let's move on to John Cena. John Cena will this year, in my opinion, eclipse Ric Flair's WWE, Ric Flair's World Heavyweight Championship title reigns. He will surpass the 17. He will surpass 18. I think John Cena, at the end of his career, will have 20 title reigns and will eventually retire as the winningest World Heavyweight Champion of all time. Now, a lot of people will, well, they'll hate on John Cena and they'll say, well, John Cena sucks. You know what? John Cena is what he is. He's a product of the WWE. John Cena is a corporate man. John Cena is dependable. John Cena is one of the best in the business. You know, I saw an interview with Alberto Del Rio, excuse me. And Alberto Del Rio actually put John Cena over, saying that John Cena doesn't do a lot of what he can do because he doesn't have to. You know, there are a lot of wrestlers that can do a lot more than they show off in the ring. And I'm talking about technically or in the ring. But they limit themselves to extend their career, which is what John Cena does. John Cena sells merchandise. John Cena is a good example to children. And you know what? As a father, I am a fan of John Cena. You can't see me. Move back into TNA Wrestling. Actually, let's bypass TNA Wrestling to New Japan Pro Wrestling. My God, this product has been amazing all year. One of the best faction, the Gaijin, the American Intruders, the Bullet Club, taking over the wrestling world. Wrestle Kingdom 9, Jim Ross, Matt Striker. Dude, I am so excited to see this pay-per-view, which will be coming January 4th. It's going to be showing at 2 a.m. Jeff Jarrett is bringing pro wrestling back. We don't know exactly what Global Force Wrestling will be. But what I can tell you is this, my friends. Global Force Wrestling, in my opinion, will be, over time, a viable contender for the WWE's ruling, or WWE's, let's just say, monarchy of pro wrestling or sports entertainment. Now, I'm really excited to see this pay-per-view, and they have a plethora of names. Now, if you haven't watched it, us at the Can-Am Wrestling Show, me and Andre Corbeil, your TNA correspondent, actually interviewed AJ Styles, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now he actually gave it up. And I'm interested to see Jim Ross call an AJ Styles match. That's going to be pretty damn amazing. And there's going to be a lot of great wrestlers. Takahashi, so on and so forth. I mean, I could go on and on about New Japan Pro Wrestling and how excited I am to see Wrestle Kingdom 9. I would like to know what you guys think. Leave your comments here below at onewrestling.com and YouTube /OneWrestling Video. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've done that. You know, pro wrestling in general had a horrible, horrible year. You know, a lot of people had a horrible year. But with the turn of the calendar means a new chance, a new day, a new effort. And I believe that pro wrestling is moving in the right place. Listen, I've been around during the golden ages of professional wrestling in the 80s, late 70s. I've seen the ascension of the WWE, and I've seen almost the demise of the WWE. I've seen the ascension of WCW and the deaths of WCW and ECW. And speaking about new things and ascensions, my God, now we have this new TV show. And you have guys like Chavo Guerrero on. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Lucha Underground, which is possibly one of the most interesting shows I've seen in a very long time. Intricate storylines, great cinematography, good in-ring action, only an hour long. Speaking of being an hour long, WWE, we've been asking you guys for years. 3 hours is just way too much to have your show. I'm hoping in 2015 WWE would consider shrinking their product down to 3 hours, or I'm sorry, to 2 hours. 3 hours is way too much. Actually, not even 3 hours, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes every Monday night. And then on top of that, you have 2 hours of SmackDown. And then you have an hour of NXT. But NXT is a whole different story. In 1 hour, I see some of the best pro wrestling I've seen in years with guys like Adrian Neville. Guys like, and I keep calling him Prince Devitt, and that's what I'm going to call him. Guys like Prince Devitt. Guys like Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and yes, Finn Balor. I mean, let's be real. The NXT program, well, the NXT programming has been some of the best I've seen in years. Amazing pay-per-views, or I don't even know what you call it. And speaking about pay-per-views, let's really quickly jump into the WWE Network before I move on to this unboxing. WWE Network has not been a huge success, but I am a huge fan. I love the fact that at any time I can see any pay-per-view, I could see any, you know, product that they're putting out, rivalries, and so on and so forth. You know, I can go and watch wrestling anytime. WCCW, WWE, you know, old NWAs, anything I want, basically on the WWE Network. And I know at this point in juncture, it may not be a huge hit money-wise, but for me as a fan, I love the WWE Network, and I hope they never go away. I'm a big fan of the product. And speaking of being a big fan, ladies and gentlemen, we are all wrestling fans. We are here to enjoy professional wrestling. You know, a lot of us are overcritical. A lot of these YouTube channels, they come on and all they do is criticize, 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 criticize. Well, the fact is that if you don't like it, turn the channel. You know, back in the day when WCW was ruling and WWE was just right behind them, and they were kind of flip-flopping, there was a guy named Mankind, and that was a guy that Vince McMahon thought would never go over. Mick Foley, you know, there was a moment in time where WCW thought it'd be best to put down the WWE product and make a joke, a mockery of Mick Foley winning their World Heavyweight title. Well, what came to pass? What came to pass was the death of WCW, and what came to pass was the birth, or the new birth, of the WWE. WWE taking over the world of professional wrestling. A lot of people will say that that was the death of professional wrestling, but professional wrestling is immortal. Professional wrestling will never die. Now, I gave you that little piece of history, and you say, why? Well, because of the fact is that, you know, we like to put down product. We like to make fun of things. We like to say, oh, this is garbage. Oh, this is never going to come back. And then guess what? We're rocking the next t-shirt of the next superstar, where we're chanting, feed me more, feed me more. Or we're saying, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, professional wrestling, again, will never die. And us here at OneWrestling.com are huge fans of professional wrestling. We just don't report it. Andre Corbeil doing TNA recaps. We have Bill Schuyler, who does One Wrestling Goes Old School with Billy Ray Valentine. Myself, I cover most of the pay-per-views, and I do Raw here and there. And of course, we have the legend, Bill Apter. Guys, support professional wrestling. It is a chance to kind of get away from our daily problems and enjoy what we like. And so what if it's not popular? What's not popular today is always next year's trend. So now I'm going to jump into the unboxing of Andre Corbeil's gift. Now it's not really an unboxing, it's more like an unbagging. So I'm going to actually take these scissors and I'm going to cut along the top of the package here. Okay. I'm actually really excited to see what this is. I got this is a bag from the Sunglass Hut. What the hell? Now here we have a sunglasses case. So I'm going to assume this is a pair of sunglasses. Andre, thank you. Oh, dude. These are awesome. Andre Corbeil just hit Big Ray with a pair of fine Oakley sunglasses. These are one hell of a name brand, and I gotta be honest with you, these look pretty damn good on me. Thank you so much, Andre Corbeil. Thank you so much, wrestling fans. Dude, this is awesome. I don't really own a pair of sunglasses, and you know, Andre is always rocking the cool sunglasses. I'm actually taken aback. These are very, very nice. Andre, thank you so much, buddy. And I want to thank the fans at OneWrestling.com, and I want to thank the fans of the Can-Am Wrestling Show, and I want to thank the fans in general for supporting our product here at OneWrestling.com, YouTube/OneWrestling Video, Can-Am Wrestling Show, the Andre Corbeil Network. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single time. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. wrestling. And I will always love wrestling, and I will always love you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you at the matches. And Andre Corbeil, I smell what you're cooking.